With the recent firing of Rex Tillerson and the departure of Hope Hicks, as well as, a whole bunch of other people, we're starting to see a lot of commentary about the turnover happening within the president's administration and within his inner circle. Some have taken to likening this pattern of hirings and firings to the president's tenure as a reality TV star host, specifically when he was hosting The Apprentice. Others have been a bit more cheeky and have started to create units of time based upon these individuals' short tenure, such as, a Scaramucci, which refers back to the tenure of former press secretary Anthony Scaramucci, which was about, 7 days. Others are substantially less tongue-in-cheek about it, though, with a number of individuals saying that it is reflective of the sort of chaos and turbulence that exists within the White House. Others are insisting that it is indicative of how bad it must be to work under President Trump directly, with their rationale being, insert XYZ reason here, right? Whether it's because of his penchant for dishonesty or because he's supposedly destroying American democracy as we know it. In response to all this, President Trump has said, the fake news narrative is that there is chaos in the White House. Wrong. People will always come and go, and I want strong dialogue before making a final decision. I still have some people that I want to change, always seeking perfection. There is no chaos, only great energy. And at another point before then said that, everyone wants to work at the White House. Which, objectively, he's probably right. I mean, there's probably no shortage of job applicants for people who want to work under the Trump administration. But anyway you slice it, the administration is acting like a revolving door. But instead of resorting to memes and hyperbole, let's instead take a second to look at the extent of the issue and see why it is problematic for both us and, potentially, for President Trump himself. Not to say that you shouldn't be spending at least, a little bit of the time looking at the memes, because, come on, they're freaking hysterical. But first and foremost, how much turnover are we seeing and how does it compare to previous administrations? According to PolitiFact, as of the 1-year mark of President Trump's first term, there was a 33% turnover rate in administrative positions. As of recording, that rate has now skyrocketed to 43%, which is the highest that we've seen since at least the Reagan years. And to be clear, that statistic only looks at things at the level of the position itself, right? So when you're looking at the transition between Sean Spicer, Anthony Scaramucci, and now Sarah Huckabee Sanders, that may have 3 individuals coming and going into the same position, but it is only counted as one because they're all revolving around the same single position, which is press secretary. This isn't just a big deal, it's actually record-breaking. And the reason why it is so deleterious is because this is negatively impacting the effectiveness and efficiency of the federal bureaucracy. Long gone are the days of, George Washington, when there was maybe just the cabinet and, 3 secretaries. The White House is a large and intricate organization employing over 1,000 individuals, and the federal bureaucracy spans over 150 agencies employing millions of people. There may be a lot of jokes and wisecracks about how federal bureaucrats don't, do anything, but in point of fact, they're actually where the policy rubber meets the road. People need to be trained in order to do just that, right? And it takes time for that training to be implemented. It takes time for people to learn and understand their prerogatives, to adapt and adjust and acclimate to the culture of the institution that they're operating within. And all the time that's being spent, dealing with turnover, dealing with training new people, meaning that it's time trying to catch people up as opposed to trying to move forward. Think of it as if you're trying to run a business. Let's say that you need to hire a new employee in order to fill a role that's sorely needed. It takes time to train this new employee, and that's a period of time that they're not going to be working at peak efficiency. And then them quitting on you means that you're going to have to deal with that again, and then scramble to make sure everything works while the position is still vacant. Research has found that high turnover rate is negatively correlated with firm performance. So that means the more that the turnover is happening, the more people come and go, the worse a firm does, and that's under a variety of different metrics. Now, there are moderating factors. For instance, if you fire somebody from a low-skilled position, it's almost always guaranteed to incur some sort of efficiency cost. However, if you're firing someone from a high-skilled position, there's a chance that it actually may improve efficiency, right? If you're firing an individual who's not cut up for the task. Similarly, someone who quits is going to rack up a higher efficiency cost than someone who is fired. Because again, if somebody is fired, it could be because they weren't actually doing the job correctly and they're going to replace them with somebody who will. But if somebody quits, it often means that they're taking knowledge and useful skills that are needed there and transferring them, often because the job market is more competitive in the private sector as opposed to the public sector. So if President Trump or his executive officials were to be firing low-performing employees, this could actually be a good thing. It could be improving the effectiveness and efficiency of the bureaucracy. That's not what's happening. Data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics show that there is an increased number of people who are quitting agencies. In fact, social media seems to always be blowing up about how scientists are quitting from the EPA, for example. That's just turnover. That's not getting into what's really a big deal for the administration. Vacancies. I feel like with the way I just kind of signaled that, I need to have the alien guy meme, come in and, yep, here we go. According to the Brookings Institute, there are actually hundreds of critical positions within the federal bureaucracy that have not even been attempted to have been filled. To be clear, executive vacancies is not a unique problem to the Trump administration. The Bush administration and the Obama administrations both had a large number of federal vacancies. However, it is uniquely high under the Trump administration, and the president is uniquely uninterested in filling these positions. Some people may be objecting to my characterization of this state of affairs as being a bad thing. After all, a number of individuals would like to see the scope and size of the federal government shrink, right, and have it go less into the affairs of people's lives. So seeing these firings and this turnover means that the government should be shrinking, and that is a good thing in their eyes. And that is a totally understandable position. In fact, it's one that I'm personally sympathetic to. The thing is that this isn't actually shrinking the scope of government. Many of these administrations are operating under many of the same prerogatives as they have been previously. It's just now they're trying to do so while being understaffed. And the issue with this is that this then makes it harder for them to be able to accomplish a task that, is relatively uncontroversial. Things like making sure the drugs that we consume are safe, or making sure that there isn't too much lead in the water. And there really haven't been some broad restructuring at work here, which is really what you should be interested in if you actually want the size of the government to shrink. In fact, it may actually hinder President Trump. That Brookings analysis that I referred to earlier makes a very interesting and important point. Appointments are important in order to get the stuff done that the president wants done. Not putting people into these critical positions doesn't mean that nothing is going to happen. It means that nothing new is going to happen. The same status quo is maintained, as these individuals are often holdovers from previous administrations or, administrations from beyond that. When these critical positions aren't filled, what ends up happening is that somebody assumes the role temporarily, often in the role of something like acting director or acting manager or something like that. But the thing is that federal law mandates that these individuals can only act in these positions for a maximum of 300 days, meaning if they pass any policies once they get past that mark, it's possible for the courts to overturn them. And that should be especially concerning for President Trump, considering how litigious people have been since the start of his administration. So yes, there have been a large number of firings, a great deal of turnover, and a large deal of vacancies. In fact, record-breaking amounts on all three of those fronts. And these things have implications for both us and for President Trump. And while there has been some research showing that presidents get better at making appointments as the terms progress, it's predicated on the notion that they actually want to fill these positions, which at this point, it doesn't seem like that's President Trump's prerogative. Here's to see what you guys think about the firings, the turnover, and its impact on the effectiveness of the bureaucracy or the executive branch more generally. Look forward to seeing you guys' thoughts on this or any other thoughts that kind of cropped up while watching the video, or any suggestions that you may have for future topics. I'm always open to them down in the comment section below. Look forward to reading all of them, answering a few of them in the next office hours. Sources for everything is always be down in the doobly-doo, as well as links to the Facebook, Twitter, and the blog. Look forward to seeing you guys out there as well. Enjoyed this video, hope you consider giving it a thumbs up. If you want to support the channel, you can do so by commenting down below, by sharing this video, and by subscribing to the channel to stay in the loop for when more awesome social science content is uploaded. And if you want to be guaranteed to be in the loop for when I upload videos, if you want to know when they're uploaded like the second they are, be sure to click that bell icon as well. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time.